Von Awesome.
It's official. We are calling this the Vonolog. Thank you, Evan. And thanks to everybody who sent suggestions, comments, likes, or anybody who just watched the monologues, which are now going to be called Vonologs, of the first ones. Subsequent ones will be called Vonolog. Also, I think I'm going to update the introduction animation when I have time to do that, probably on my weekend, which is Thursday and Friday. I'll use that opportunity of motivation now to do a little animation or something. We'll see what happens about creating a new introduction to the Vonolog, and maybe update those once a week or maybe once a month, or who knows how often I'm going to do that, but I will be updating it so they don't become too tedious. Today's topic has nothing to do with anybody having suggested anything, other than the fact that Eli seemed to like my story on the origin of Sunset Beach. Today I'm going to talk about the origin of social smokers. For a long time now, I've had a band called Social Smokers. It's not active now, but I've always, in my mind, I've always had, since I started it, and always will have, a band called Social Smokers everywhere I go. It started in Japan when I lived in Japan back in 95 through 2001. I was given a band by a friend of mine named Joe Wade, who was a music promoter and musician, and he created an event called Mukogawa Music Festival in Osaka, in which many bands would play. It was a major event for the foreigner community in Osaka, and my band Social Smokers did end up playing there one year, and it was going to play there again the second year, or it was not the second year of the existence of Mukogawa. Mukogawa had been for a long time, but the second year we were going to play there, it was as a different band, because the band had broken up between the times, but the new band was going to play there, the new Social Smokers band, but I ended up moving to Hawaii before we had a chance to. Anyway, Joe Wade gave me his band, and that's how Social Smokers got started. In Osaka, people come there. In Japan, foreigners come there, and we work there, and some people stay forever, of course, but most people stay for a number of years and then leave. I stayed there for 6 years, and in that time taught English and enjoyed playing music in bars. Well, in Japan, the Japanese style of bar is different than the Western style of bar, and Japanese musicians don't really have the same opportunity to make a little money as a part-time musician. You either have to decide to be a full-time professional musician, or you're going to be just a hobbyist, and playing live in front of people will cost you money, because Japanese style bars, you have to rent the bar, and then you have to charge your friends or not to come see you in order to get some of your money back, and usually you don't even break even. So because of that, a lot of good Japanese musicians, if they have a little English, will go and hang out in Western style bars, and especially in Osaka, which had an America Village called Amerikamura, where there were Western style bars to hang out in, and a lot of Westerners would hang out there and get away from Japan for a while and have a little taste of stuff that was catered to them and to their style of doing things, including bands that were usually fronted by people living and working, Westerners living and working in Japan like myself, who had little ability to play music, and the Japanese guys could go there, meet people, and if they had a little English, they would be able to put their band together and the Japanese musicians could then play and get paid, just like the foreigners, just like the Westerners would. And so Joe Wade had this band, and I can't remember what he called them, what they were called, but when he was leaving the country, and so he just gave me his band. They were three guys that had been playing together for a while, so they had a little bit of they had some tightness, and so they were used to playing together. So they just needed a foreigner to front the band, and so I was it. Thing was is that Japanese fluently. I did not. So we had to use the language of music, since these three guys didn't really speak English hardly at all. The bass player spoke a little bit, but not very comfortably, and so we got along by me going Kodo wa Idesu, E chord, and play, and we'd get along, and I would just play my songs. They would figure it out. I would write out charts occasionally, but most of the time I'd just play, and they would eventually play along, and we rehearsed enough, and we had a good time, and we ended up playing in bars, and ended up playing for Mukogawa Music Festival, and had a great time. And eventually we broke up because the drummer started hitting on my girlfriend, but that's another story. Anyway, the logo for the band was Japanese emoticon. You might see this if you see Social Smokers advertisement here, because I will always have a band called Social Smokers. I like the name. About the name, my Japanese band in Japan, Social Smokers, they always wondered why was it that we were called Social Smokers when nobody in the band really smoked, except for they didn't realize really I'm a social smoker. I don't really smoke cigarettes, but it's a double entendre. But they didn't really understand double entendre so much, so I just told them, well, it's because you guys are just, when you play, it's smoking, and they bought it.